Check your clocks. Time now is 8:14 on your Sunday morning, and hopefully you took advantage of the extra hour of sleep this morning thanks to the time change. And while some of us are excited about the change of seasons, it has a negative effect on some because there's less sunlight, which could affect your mood. Taking a closer look, seasonal affective disorder affects a lot of people, 10 million. And women, it's more common for you than men. It typically starts around age 20. Here to talk about some of the symptoms you should look out for and how you can turn your mood around is Kelly McCabe with Baylor Scott and White. Good morning to you. Have you seen patients that come in with the signs of this disorder?
Absolutely. Seasonal affective disorder is actually a type of depression and actually accounts for anywhere from about 10 to 20% of normal depressive cases. So most clinically depressed people that we see will actually have a seasonal course.
Does it hit pretty early on? So when the time change takes effect like tonight, I mean, how quickly can it come on?
Generally, you'll notice when the time change happens, there's less daylight in the day, and research is actually showing that the effects of seasonal affective disorder are actually tied to a result in melatonin levels, and melatonin affects our circadian rhythm, which of course is associated with shortened daylight hours. And so they assume that as soon as we start having to adjust to that time change, that ultimately you'll start to see the effects. And generally those effects will last until probably about the spring, around March or April, where hopefully you start to see some of those symptoms lift.
Yeah, you mentioned it's a lot like depression.
Right.
Some of the symptoms including a change in appetite. You could be overeating or the complete opposite, not even hungry at all.
Correct.
What are some of the other symptoms?
Some of the other symptoms, general withdrawal symptoms, loss of interest in things that you once enjoyed. Things don't taste as good or feel as good. Maybe loss of energy. You know, certainly the sleeping is an issue. Oversleeping, though, a lot of people think, especially when the time change, that, oh, I get to catch up on an extra hour of sleep. And that's not the case. Anytime you're throwing your body's rhythms off, it's going to have, you know, some effect on you.
Mm-hmm. Do some people combat these symptoms with medication, or is it smarter to start off just doing natural things in your daily routine?
I think it really depends on how your course is really going. I mean, if it's somebody that suffered from depression in the past, then certainly they're probably going to want to seek out their physician or their counselor and see what kind of resources they may have to help them. But otherwise, if it's just a general change in mood and you're noticing just some things that are bothersome, certainly getting outside more frequently, trying to make the extra time to make contact with people that care about you, that you care about, and really just kind of pushing through some of that discomfort that you may feel.
Yeah, when you say time outside, it doesn't have to be a major commitment. No. Even just during your workday, like we work in an office where there's not a lot of windows, right. So maybe stepping outside for about 15 minutes, which probably could lower your stress level as well.
Exactly, exactly. One of the things I get to do in my sessions is oftentimes take people for a walk. So that's something that, you know, now that we have less daylight in the day, I'll be doing more often. So.
Yeah, and also kind of making a commitment to connect with people more.
Absolutely.
If you know you're closing yourself off from others, you know, make an effort to call somebody just to talk because you know it's affecting you negatively.
Absolutely, and certainly if you're noticing these changes and you're deteriorating to the point that you're really worried about a loved one, or somebody has become a danger to themselves or others, obviously get help immediately and call 911 or get them to their physician as soon as possible.
What about you know, changing your routine? I know it might be difficult with some people with their job. You've got to be there at a certain time.
Sure.
You've got to wake up at the same time every day and go to bed. But should you try to wake up earlier and go to bed a little bit earlier so that you've got more daylight in the day?
Generally, you don't want to throw your schedule off too much. I think most people would recommend about 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, maybe waking up 15 minutes earlier to get started. But you really don't want to get up too far before the daylight if you're not used to getting up before the daylight. So
then you'll just be angry.
That's right. That's right.
You'll need a lot more coffee. Well, we have got a detailed list of symptoms, also ways that you can help yourself with just natural things to roll into your routine. Thank you so much, Dr. McCabe, for being here this morning.